Peanut Podcast fans, this is the show we've been waiting for a long time. We're bringing on somebody that's been extremely successful in the sports handicapping industry, and I feel very, very honored to have the Crack Man on the Proven Winner Sports Podcast. This is exciting. This man has been on Showtime, the show Action. He's been featured there. He moves a lot of money through the window, and he's got a specific strategy that is very, very interesting, and we're going to talk about today. So without further ado, Bill, let's tap you in and bring you into the show. Welcome, Bill.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Hey, we're excited about having you on the show. So thanks for spending about 15, 20 minutes with us today and getting to know you a little bit. So Bill, real quick, give us a little background on Bill, and we'll start there.
Boy, nothing I do is real quick. But I'll tell you right now, I grew up back east. I grew up in a Italian. My mother was Italian, a real tough family. Gamblers, it's almost like a rite of passage if you grow up back east. Anywhere, the Bronx, the North Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, anywhere you grow up like that, if you grow up in that kind of a family style, and my family was no different. You know, there's all card games amongst the family when I was a little kid. And they at nighttime, like Thanksgiving night, when the lights go out for the kids, out comes the cards for the adults. And then you go to Atlantic City and stuff. They would do that a lot on weekends. We grew up with gambling. Listen, I actually grew up in Central Jersey on a boardwalk town, a small blue collar boardwalk town where gambling was everything. We had racetracks, we had the lottery, we have casinos, local poker games, local games of chance. I mean, I kind of grew up with it. But however, from a young age, my cousin taught me some card counting, and he was very, very smart, and he still is. And he taught me some advantage gambling, and that's really it. I took off from there. I always bet sports since I was a little kid, but I was a loser like everyone else. I was a stone cold loser. It took someone to, tell me to take the emotional part out of the game, take out that part where you're sweating the money. I don't even watch the games. I don't watch this. I get the scores at the end of the night. It's a business to me. It's a successful business, but it's a business. There's no sweat equity, and that's really it. And of course, there's more to that. But.
Yeah. Oh no, without a doubt. But that's the most difficult part for the novice sports bettor, or any sports bettor for that matter, is taking the emotional part of the game. We love to watch sports, and that's why we do it. But it's a different when you become a professional, where you have to take the emotional part out. I've been doing a lot of education on that. So. Tell us a little bit about what it was like being on Showtime. The show, if you have not seen this 4-part series, I believe it's a 4-part series, the show Action was really well done by Showtime. I think there needs to be more of it on primetime TV, but walk us through, tell us a little bit about your experience on that show.
Sure. Well, it was a 4-part docuseries on Showtime, which is still available on demand, on Showtime on demand. And, I just basically let the cameras follow me around. There wasn't no scripted scenes really that I can think of. We really didn't have anything. I just let them follow me around and my everyday lifestyle. Listen, I wasn't on there to promote anything. I didn't even promote my social media, my Twitter page or Crack Wins or nothing like that. It was just a real open book to what my life is, kind of. My wife was on there with me, my lifestyle. Back in Atlantic City, where I go I'm there about 4 or 5 months of the year. New Jersey sports betting is unfortunately much better than Las Vegas. Not now during baseball season, actually, because the 10-cent line is not what New Jersey has. New Jersey's more of the Euro books have a wider margin on their baseball lines, which does bother me. Also, their money lines. There's only a couple books to bet at that has 10-cent lines, whereas here it's more the common thing here. You can go to 4 or 5 different sports books and get a 10-cent line. And for people that don't know what that means, if you're laying 160 on a baseball game, you want the comeback to be plus 150. Whereas New Jersey, if you're laying 160, it's not even plus 140. It's like plus 135, 132. Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that those books charge what they do. But so anyway, Gil Alexander, my buddy that I do VSiN with on Thursdays, he recommended me to the Showtime guys. They did an interview with me right away, and I just told them, really, listen, it's a no BS thing with me. I'm not on here to talk about how to hit 65% and 62%, which is all BS for the most part. Well, I mean, this year in college basketball, I was at 65% for a lot of the year. Wow, finished off about 61%. Had a great year in college basketball, but it's hard to to replicate or duplicate that every single season for sure.
For sure.
57, 58%. It's going to make me six figures a year. So you could picture with 61 or 62 or 65% is. So anyway, they just followed me around and kind of, I really didn't do what they wanted me to do. A couple things like they wanted me to, oh, Bill, could you take 100,000 to the sports book and bet a game? It's not what I do. First of all, I'm not flashy. I don't do that. As you've seen on the show, I drove a Kia, where you have like a guy like Vegas Dave driving a Bentley or whatever he had. It's just, it's not what I do. And now, granted, I did just upgrade the car. I did get a Kia, another Kia though, but I got to tell you right, because I just think Kia is great. Didn't tell you right, it's great. So I did get a new one, but so like I said, basically it was an open book about New Jersey and Atlantic City sports betting, as well as Las Vegas sports betting, and it was a fun time. I loved it. Matter of fact, we were talking about doing an Action 2, season 2. And it never, maybe because of the virus and stuff, there was a lot of reasons. They wanted to do on a horse racing, which basically is a dead sport. Besides the Del Mars, the Saratogas, and the big races of the year, like the Kentucky Derby, it's really a dead sport, dying sport. Racetracks are really, unless they're supported by a racino or a casino, they're closing at a rampant pace. So I don't know what they were thinking there, but they didn't do it though. We didn't do it. So we'll see what happens.
Hey, let me ask you about this. This has been an idea of mine for a very long time. So I'm thinking about taking, well, I would like to present the idea, reality TV into the sports betting world, similar to what you guys did, but more on a reality TV side of like a sports handicapping tournament where they all live in one house, and that you get that camaraderie, that shit talking type of thing. And, give the people, I think people really love reality TV. And so what do you think about that idea? Putting, 8 guys in a house, have a sports handicapping tournament, and kind of taking it from there. What do you think about that idea?
Yeah, it's going to be guys that are a lot of BSers. There's not a lot of serious people out there in the sports handicapping thing. I almost challenge anyone to replicate or duplicate, a real, you see, here's what it is. You need closing line value. So closing line value equals winners over a period of time. Like, I know what I do. If I, lay 3 on a college basketball game, I know it's going to close 4. I know if I go over 150 on a basketball total, it's going to close 152, 153. I've been betting some of these college football games recently, these FCS games. They've been moving 4 or 5 points. They were moving. I mean, it was just out of control. So that means in the end, it equals dollars in the end if you get closing line value. And also, this is not something based on handicapping, watching the games and TV and stuff. This is more what we do is I have a team behind me that's not only an analytical team, which does things from analytical ways, but also it's the street smarts, the common sense. You have to have the human element also, which we have too. So I got like 4, depending on the sport, I have 3 or 4 guys, myself included, involved in these things. So again, this is going off of a 25, well, now it's almost 30-year playbook of winning sports betting. This is not something that's just, on Twitter, you have all these guys that say how they done lately, how have they done the last month or the last week, what run they're on. I always challenge all those guys. Listen, since I opened up Crack Wins, I'm up 250 units. The customers I wouldn't be able to say that on any show, including yours. The customers would rip me apart. So I know what I've done. I know what I've done compared to other handicappers and people out there. Most people are not transparent. These guys that are out there, it's totally different than what we do. And I'm not trying to down anyone in particular. It is what it is. It's because of the internet world. We have the social media world. Anyone could say anything. Anyone can go on under a fake name and say they're a handicapper and start a service. And if they lose, they'll change names and be someone else. Not what I do. I was born Bill Krackomberger. I'll die Bill Krackomberger.
I love that. Hey, transparency is what I preach on the daily basis. So much respect for you. Hey, I want to slide right into actually your betting strategy. So for the people out there, he's got a different bet, or Bill has a bit different betting strategy, which he's obviously going to tell us about, but he's a volume bettor. And so he moves a lot of money through the window to obviously grab a percentage. The more money he moves through the window, the more money he makes because he's hitting at a specific percentage. So tell us a little bit about that strategy, Bill, compared to others in the industry.
Well, living in Las Vegas, especially this time of the year, you can get a lot of little nuggets that you can't get in other jurisdictions. I can't wait till like the FanDuels and the DraftKings get here, because that's the ones I go back east. Points Bet, all these deals and bonuses and boost bets, they're all part of Positive EV. But here in Las Vegas, you could bet a lot of volume, because a lot of the Square sports books, they have so much Square volume. It's the little guys betting 50, 60, $100. Cumulatively adds up to a lot of money, where the sportsbook has to overmove that line and dangle that carrot with that juicy side, normally on the underdogs, depending on what sport, but it's most of the underdogs. And it's just a different way to bet than a lot of people that want to bet one game a day or something like that. And listen, even my service, I try to send out the best game or two a day. People don't want so much volume. They're so nervous of a lot of volume because their bankroll can't handle it. You're only supposed to bet 1 to 2% of your bankroll, maybe 3% if something's really super strong. So they can't handle them kind of swings, though, bankroll wise. And I understand they're just starting out, or they only have a certain bankroll. It's very hard to follow that bankroll too. It's so easy to preach that, but yet when it comes time to do it, and you're putting, let's say you have $1,000 and you're putting $20, $30, $1,000 dedicated just for sports betting. You put $20, $30 on the game and you're down 3, 4, 5 units. Automatically, you say, I'm betting 150 and getting out and getting even. It's bankroll ruin. It's gambling ruin. There's no way. Even I can't help you there. It's not going to happen. You could get lucky a couple times, but in the end, they're going to get all your money. So I do things a little different, though. Volume-wise, you're right. On a Saturday or Sunday, especially during cross sports, when it's college basketball, college football, I'll have 50 bets, 50. And the reason why I say that, I'm only working on a 2-3% margin, maybe 4 or 5% of something really that we specialize in. So you think about it, $1,000 bet to me. I think I have this is just coincidental. It's a losing ticket. A lot of guys won't show that. Here's a $5,000 losing ticket that I bet in AC. But this was a terrible beat. The more I think about it, this was Houston -7, and I got on the plane that night. And they were up by 17 at the half, and I just landed and found out I lost that $5,000. But anyway, so a $5,000 ticket like this ticket here. So this ticket, if I have a 3% edge, and that's generous, that means this ticket is only worth $150 in positive expected value of money to me. So in order to make what I make per year, and I have to have a lot of these. I can't just bet 5,000 on a game. I have to bet 5 figures on a game to make it worthwhile for me and the team. So that's the reason why it's volume for me. It's a lot of bets. It's a lot of big bets. And, when I make a big bet, it sounds like a giant bet. It's really not, because this ticket doesn't mean $5,000 to me. It means $150, if that makes any sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense. It's 3%, right? That's your expected value. Hey, so tell the people what you're moving through the window, if you don't mind. I mean, on a given, like a cross sport weekend, if you have 50 bets, what are you moving through the window?
Giant money. Yeah, no. On any given weekend, I'll have like I said, on action. I kind of regret saying it. I even am going to regret saying it here, probably, because people take it wrong, taking me as bragging. It's not bragging. Trust me.
It's not.
It's for many years of building a bankroll up and doing the right thing. And I said it on action, and people were like, BS. You don't have that kind of money. You have to have. So if I put $1 million through the window, bankroll wise, on a Saturday and Sunday during cross sports, that literally means $10,000, $20,000, maybe $30,000 in profit, expected profit for the team. Now, when I say the team, at any given time, there's either 2, 3, or 4 different guys that we're splitting that up. So it's not the kind of money you think based off that type of volume. Now, there are other sports like at WNBA coming up. Oh boy, I'll try to bet anything I can. I'll try to get every penny down I can get. I'll even take secondary numbers. It's been that good over the years. What that means is, I'll lay 1 on a game, and then the game goes to 1.5. I'll lay 1.5 also. So I'll do that with certain sports because I know I have a 5% edge. So to try to get down as much money as I can. I'm betting a lot of money in volume across the windows and legally. And I pay tax on a lot of money every year.
Heck yeah, you do. Hey, how do the sports books react to that? You're putting, potentially $1 million through the window on any given weekend, cross sport weekend. What is that like? How do they react to that?
Places like the South Point, of course, Westgate and Circa, they'll welcome that action. They'll welcome that kind of action. I shouldn't say they'll welcome it, But they want that kind of, they want to know what information that someone like myself is on. I'm not the only pro that's being allowed to bet in a place like Circa. They welcome that kind of action. They move off of it, and they try to get people on the other side. If I always say, like, places like William Hill and stations that throw me out, if I'm so good, if you say I'm a winner, which I obviously I am, but then overmove your line and put your customers on the other side of that line. Put your customers on the other side and be on. I want to be on the same side as you, being the bookmaker, and you want to be on the same side as me. That's really what a professional bettor really tries to obtain. We try to be on the bookmaker side. We know they get the money every week, year in and year out, and try to get on the same side as them. They really should welcome my bets, but unfortunately, some of these books do not welcome my bets, and they throw out winners like Stations and William Hill.
Talk to me a little bit about the business side of things, right? That's the personal side of things. You have your team. Talk to me a little about how you deal with your customers in terms of volume compared to 1 to 2 games, if that's your strategy there. Also about crackwins.com. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, Crackwins is an app. We have an app also, and we're crackwins.com. And I was against anyone that was selling games for decades, just against them so bad. Only because it's 99.9% of them are all BSers. They're guys that just and it's just not what I was about. And I always felt that, well, if you're winning on your own, making money, why do you have to sell games? Well, unfortunately for someone like myself, I love that I can help people actually get in those books like Stations, Hill, Boyd. Now Coast is throwing people out left and right. And I say thrown out. I was betting $1,000 on NFL prop bets there. Now they limited me to $20. I mean, they're just it's basically thrown out. So, yeah, $20. Yeah. So I like that I can actually give those type of bets to these people, and they can all beat these little sports books too. And let's be blunt. I give them the cream of the crop. I let them bet the games before I even bet them. So the proof's in the pudding. We're up over like 250 units. Ridiculous. I ran so well for these customers that I'm really, really happy for them. Happy for myself for that I could do that. We all have a little bit of an ego, though mine's pretty small, but I like that I can come on a show like yours and say that I won that, because I could never do that if I didn't win that. Their customers would go crazy. So yeah, it's fun, and not only that, it's actually educational. There's articles on my app that I've written over the time period, and Forbes just asked me to write for them. I'm going to write some stuff for them too. It's nice to show people about different things in the industry. And I like to be almost a mouthpiece for the little guy. And that's what I do on every, even my Twitter feed. It's not about me promoting my crack wins. I don't do it. And my partners want me to. Well, trust me, they do. I don't do it enough, though. It's about really educating the public about where to bet, where not to bet, what to do, what not to do. And even my shows like this, I'll tell them the value of lines, and line shopping is so important.
Right.
Even with myself, I'll tell you right now, even following Crack Wins, you're gonna really struggle to break even unless you have more than one sports book. Those half points mean so much at the end of the year. They mean so much. It's so good to have in your repertoire those square books I'm not allowed to play in. It's important to have Stations. It's important to have William Hill, which you can have William Hill now in 15 different states, which is now going to go over to Caesars, obviously.
Right.
But William Hill, even the Boyd, the Coast properties, it's good to have all these properties in your arsenal for sure. You have to have them. Even back east, I find some sick values back east during football, basketball season on the books, the FanDuels, the DraftKings, the points bets. I find some really good value on the Euro books.
So, I mean, I'm going to leave you guys with this. We're going to jump off. Bill's obviously a very, very successful sports bettor and very educational as well. And so, Bill, why don't you tell the public where they can find you and check you out?
Sure. On Twitter at Bill Crackman with a K. And I'm on there almost every single day. It gets to be a sickness sometimes. Sometimes I'll just take like 2 or 3 days off, which I do. I answer people's questions. I try to help everyone. Try to put some things on there that'll help everyone. Also, of course, crackwins.com and on the Crack Wins app, which you can find in wherever you find your. And also, I forgot about that. That's in the App Store. But also, I'm forgetting my podcast. We have a Wisecracks podcast. that we're on every week. Myself and John Orlando, Tony Orlando's son, we started doing that on episode like 43 or 44 right now. I've had unbelievable guests. I have had really, I mean, Dick Vitale, Marcus Allen, Lauren Moon.
Wow.
Yeah, and we go everywhere. Last week I had Kendra Lust, ex-porn star, who's UFC now. So she's got 1 million followers. I had her on the show last week. We've had some really, really good, and we got some giant ones coming up. Boy, I'm saving some big names, but literally we've had so many guests on, and I'm forgetting some of the great ones. Former Olympians and just all over. We've had some really good guests, and in the sports betting field, of course, I've had the manager. Jimmy Vaccaro's been on. Jay Cornegate down at the Westgate. I'm getting Derek Stevens on, the owner of course, Circa. I'm going to have I got some really good connections. Very fortunate in my life. I've been very fortunate and blessed.
That's beautiful, man. I'm going to have to check that out. Full transparency, I haven't seen it yet, but damn, you got me excited about it. Hey, a couple comments here. Looks like you know your shit. I would have to agree with this person. And Bill's the real deal from Over Under Girl. So that's pretty cool. Hey, great. So if you guys want to check out my show as well, you can find me on YouTube, PW Sports Podcast, and you can find me on Instagram at Proven Winner and Twitter's at Proven Winner. Bill, I hope to have you on the show again. Educational, anytime. Transparency. I love it. I love the East Coast mentality. Just you are who you are. So I appreciate you jumping on the show. I appreciate it, Bill. I'm going to check out your show as well, and we're going to get out of here. So to everybody out there, check this man out. He's a true legend. All right, we're out.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Copy, P-Dub.